Oh, much better. Okay. Hi, I'm Mike Panisi, and a few months ago, my friend Allie said, "Hey, Mike, you make amazing pizzas and breads. Why don't you share that knowledge with other people?" And so I was at Pizza Fest over the weekend, and I was really inspired by what I saw at Pizza Fest, especially my hero, Leo Spazzeri. He was slinging pizzas in 90-degree heat and doing stuff on Instagram at the same time. It was amazing. And I can never be Leo, but I think my experiences as an amateur pizza maker might be actually useful to some people. So I'm here showing how to make artisanal pizza dough. And then later on today, I'm going to actually show how to make tavern-style pizza dough. If you're from Chicago, you know what I'm talking about, thin crust, squares. We're gonna look at that dough next. But this artisanal pizza dough, the reason why I'm starting here is because so many people are getting these little Ooni pizza ovens in their backyards, and the kettle attachments for Weber's and things like that. And then they ask me, like, well, what should I do for my pizza dough? So I hope this will be useful, even though this is live, because I kind of like the thrill of doing this live. It's going to be archived eventually. So anyway, equipment. Let's start there. Now the method and what I'm going to show you how to do is going to make 2 pizzas, and it's the method I've been doing for the last year and a half. If you know me and you've seen any of my pizzas that come out of my wood-fired oven or my Breville oven over the last year and a half, this is what I do. This is how I make my pizzas. It works. And there's going to be real pizza makers that are going to go, "Oh my God, what the hell is he doing?" But it works, I'm telling you. So let's talk about equipment first. If you want to make pizzas or bread, you got to have a scale. You cannot do it with cups. You just can't. A cup is not the same every single time. When you weigh out flour, it's the same every single time. You got to have a scale. This one doesn't cost very much. It's Amazon, $12. I didn't want to say the brand just because there's lots of them on Amazon for around $12. Okay. So you got to have a scale. That's essential equipment. Optional equipment, and this is for the method that we're going to use. Optional equipment, everything got shuffled around. Optional equipment is an instant read thermometer. I will find that when I need it. I don't need it yet. Actually, I think it fell. Yep, there it is. Sorry, this is my first live thing, and anyway, it fell. This is my instant read thermometer. You don't actually need this because I'm going to show you how to time this, so it's all going to work, and you don't need one. But if you want to get really sciencey about it, you can get one. So optional. Now the big thing: how are we going to make this dough? We're going to make it by hand? No. We're going to make it in a KitchenAid mixer? No. We're going to make it in a food processor. That's right. We're going to make it in a food processor, and this is going to be like that. Okay. So here's my food processor over here, and it's a Breville. And it's a 12 cup, but what I'm going to show you, you should be able to make in any food processor. You got Cuisinart, whatever, because we're not making a lot of dough. We're making 2 pizzas. The motor should be able to handle whatever it is that you're going to do. And when it's Breville time, I'll switch the camera back over. Okay, but just to review, scale, essential. Thermometer, and then obviously food processor, that's important. Okay, all right, ingredients. Now, I use proper Italian pizza flour, and I buy it in big bags. And the brand that I like, and they're not paying me for this, the brand that I like is Caputo. I order on Amazon. It comes like this, and when it's full, it looks like I'm a drug dealer because there's white powder in there. But this is what I like to use. Some stores are starting to carry Caputo pizza flour. King Arthur makes a pizza flour now, and I've seen it at local grocery stores. It works pretty good, but I'm got to be loyal to my brand. But you want a pizza flour, 00 pizza flour, okay? Can you do this with other flours? I hear you can, and maybe a future video, I'm going to explore that to see if that's possible. But we use 00 pizza flour. That's one of the ingredients. I'm going to give you all the list here in just a second. Then the only other ingredients that we need, water, salt, yeast. Some people like to put oil, I don't, and so I'm going to give you the ingredient list right now, and I realized the moment that I did this, that when I hold this up to the camera, it's all going to be backwards, and I apologize. Maybe it's not. Maybe it actually is the right way. I don't know. When I look at it in my camera, it's the wrong way. So anyway, these are the ingredients. And you can pause the video and you can go back and look at this. Now you will see that it said 300 grams of pizza flour. I already measured that out. That's already here. We don't need to watch me measure. 190 grams of cold water. This is important for the method because the food processor will make this dough get warm. And so I want cold, and cold I mean like ice cold. I put about 4 or 5 ice cubes in here with tap water. Now I'm using tap water. I get water from Lake Michigan. It's fine for me to drink. It's fine for my pizza. The chlorine has never been a problem. If you don't trust your water, then yeah, use bottled water, okay? But I have no problem with my Lake Michigan water. So ice cold water in here. I think it's still ice cold. Yeah, it's still very cold. And we're gonna want 190 grams of this. Now the reason why I'm measuring this out is because I wanted to talk about it being ice cold water. So now we're gonna measure it out, 190 grams. This isn't very hard to do. And that's the only thing I'm gonna be measuring. I've already measured out everything else. A little bit more. There we go, perfect. Now, you might have looked, you saw on the list, you saw 1.5 grams of yeast. And you're like, how the heck am I going to measure 1.5 grams of yeast? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. My scale can't possibly do that. And you're right, it can't. So I'm going to give you 2 options here. Option A would be you actually have to get another little scale. It's called the gram scale. And it will measure out these small amounts of yeast that you need. And then you'll probably go on some FBI list because you have a gram scale. But what the heck. Or you can take my advice right now here, because I have 1.5 grams of yeast. I'm trying to. Oh, okay. I have 1.5 grams of yeast in there, and when I use my measuring spoons, I see that I've got a 1/4 teaspoon, and that's full. Tilt the camera again. That's full. It's at a 1/4 teaspoon. And then I have 1/8 of a teaspoon, and that takes the rest. You have to take my word for it. So if you do a 1/4 teaspoon and 1/8 of a teaspoon, you're coming very close with your yeast. And yeast is forgiving because it's going to grow anyway. And you want to have enough. You don't want to have too much. A 1/4 teaspoon and 1/8 of a teaspoon will be fine. And I use instant yeast. Keep it in the fridge. Should have left it out. Nothing fancy. Red Star Quick Rise yeast. Not paying me. The important thing is the yeast you get instant yeast, not active or the stuff you got to bloom. Instant is just fine for what we do here. Okay, so we got my flour, got the yeast, salt. You saw 9 to 10 grams of salt, depending on your scale. You know, you hit 9 and just take another little pinch and put some more in. If you do have that kind of precision, it's like 9.5 grams. That's how much salt you really want. It's just hard to do that. So we've got our 9.5 grams of salt, which I'm going to measure out right now, actually, for you, because I'm going to do this on a gram scale like you might have. So here's what I mean by this. So I've got a cup, I've got this tared, and I go to 9 grams, and then I put a pinch in. It says 9, pinch. Now I'm at 9.5. So there's my 9.5 grams of salt, there's my flour, there's my yeast, and I'd already measured the water. So now the magic happens, and it happens really fast. Like the talking was more than the dough. This is the fun part. So I'm gonna bring the mixer over so we can see it. Hopefully that's not too bad. If it's, also feedback is greatly encouraged on this. Like if you want a different camera angle, whatever, like that'd be great to hear later. Okay, so here's the flour. Goes into the mix, into the food processor, and here's the yeast. Goes in, and there's the salt. Goes in. That's all. No water yet. Okay, and I get the lid. And if you're wondering why it's all looking maybe a little dirty, it's because I already made a batch of dough earlier because I want to show you something at the very end here when we're done. Okay, and I've got my instant read thermometer here. Now, if you can have your phone for a stopwatch. I got to use my iPad because obviously I can't use my phone. It's recording right now. So I've got my iPad set up over here to be a stopwatch. and I'm resetting it currently. Okay, stopwatch, reset. All right, so that's all ready to go. Got my water here. I turn on my food processor, and the first thing I want to do really quick, is zits it. Okay. The lid's not. All right, we'll get the lid. There we go. Okay, lid's in place. We're just going to zits it real quick, just to mix everything up. Mix all the yeast and the salt and everything together. Okay, so now I got the water here, and it's warmed up a little bit, but I think the timing is going to be just fine. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to hit start on my stopwatch, and then I'm going to go over and start the food processor and slowly add the water in. So hit start, add the water in. Might be a little dust that comes out, not a big deal. You can see it's starting to make dough. Here I'm going, and this is not going to go a long time. It looks like it's dough already, but we're not there yet. We're going to go 35 seconds. And if I've done this right, I'm pretty sure I have. Almost there. Oh, there, 35 seconds. Okay, so if I've done this right, when I go check the temperature, it should be somewhere between 75 and 80. If it's a little above, a little below, it's okay. But I go in, and we are at 78 degrees. I don't know if you can see that or not, but we're at 78. So I told you, trust me. Now, why that temperature? Honestly, I don't know all the science behind it, but I've read a lot. And this is our desired temperature for the dough. It means we've developed the gluten enough, and the yeast is awake, and now it's just a matter of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and this is where it gets a little tricky. My camera work is going to get ugly here, because I need to. We're going to take the dough, and we're going to dump it onto a workspace. It doesn't have to be floured. The dough's a little sticky, but it's not super sticky. And now I have to figure out how to change the angle of the camera so that you can see what I'm doing. And there. Okay. Now, the dough is going to be pretty sticky. And if you don't touch it too long, it won't stick to your hands. But it is pretty sticky. If you've got some kind of bench scraper like this, it can kind of be useful. But we're going to work with this really quickly, because all we want to do with this dough is get it to form a ball like this. If you don't touch it too long, it won't stick to your hands. Oh, sorry, it won't stick to your hands. See, not sticking. Really easy. Okay. Now it's ready. All we have to do, and you might, and if you know anything about dough, you're gonna say, "Wow, wait, that can't be right." Because look, if I pull it, it's not very stretchy yet. That's okay. Time is going to create the gluten. Okay, we've developed the dough. Time is going to create all the gluten. So we put this in a container, oiled, floured, whatever. It's going to come, and it's going to sit in your fridge for a couple days. And then you're going to take it out, divide it into 2 balls, let those balls come back up to room temperature, and as soon as they do, you're ready to make pizzas with them. And I'm gonna make another video in a couple days when this dough is ready. Okay. But what I want to show you, though, is I made another ball earlier, and it's only sat for 20 minutes, plus the time in the video. But it's only sat for 20 minutes, and you can see the difference in the gluten development. Okay? Remember that one I tried to pull it, and it was not even a little bit stretchy. And here's this one I made earlier, and you can see already the gluten and how I can pull, right? Much more so than the other one. And this is just 20 minutes. So that gluten is going to develop on its own as it sits in the fridge. And why is it in the fridge for a couple of days? Flavor. It's going to ferment slowly. The yeast is not going to go crazy. And you're going to get really nice flavor out of this dough when it's done. Okay? So that's basically it for making artisan pizza. This is going to make 2 pizzas. You can just repeat the process, 2 pizzas at a time for however many you want to make. And you keep them in a container like this. And when you're ready to bake, which we're going to do, there's going to be another video on Saturday where I show you how to bake these things up in my oven if people want to see that. So anyway, thanks. And a little later today, it's going to be tavern style pizza. So stay tuned. Thanks.